So it's been a while since I browsed estatesale.net, but I just picked up this 32-inch RCA Bubble CRT on Friday, and so far it's really impressing me. It just has a very clean and vibrant picture. This is an RCA model 32V432T from May 2005. I picked this setup for $20, and the guy running the estate sale even helped me load it into my car. That was a really nice surprise because normally it's run by old people that don't like the idea of helping you move heavy items. I've gotten pretty good at spotting models, and I recognize this as the RCA V series. It took time to get it into my car, but I was really happy with how it looked. I'm just running Gaiden II through a simple composite signal, and this set has excellent geometry, which is usually in the nature of these bubble tubes. The menu settings were in a pretty good place, but the contrast was blown out, so I had to bring that down to about 50% to get the best picture. Remember that if you reduce the contrast too much, your whites will start to turn gray and it starts to get a dim look to it. Other than the contrast, I just lowered the color a little bit to give it a more natural, cleaner look and remove the oversaturation. I didn't bother doing any color calibrations because I felt that everything was dialed in pretty good, so it wasn't really necessary. So I've been into CRT collecting for about 3 years now, and what makes this hobby so stressful is that you build up so much excitement. You're always thinking that this one may be the one with the perfect picture, but I've learned that you need to be realistic with these old CRT sets. Unfortunately, I have an eye for imperfections, and I don't think I've ever seen a CRT without a single flaw to it. Just remember that if you chase the CRT dragon, you're depriving yourself of a joyful gaming experience. Looking this set over, I really like the shape and the flat top. It has a really nice cosmetic look to it. The curvature to the tube is very deep, and the shape and geometry remind me of a JVC D series almost. I love the fact it has both a menu and input select button, and it came with the remote, so I was able to do some minor tweaks in the service menu. When we take a look at the tube from the side angle, you can see how prominent the bubble is. Even though I haven't seen a D series in a couple years, I would say it's about the same depth. I personally like curved CRTs because I play a lot of side scrollers, and they usually lack the warping that you find on flat CRTs. All in all, after some heavy cleaning, the set looks really good and gets an A+ for its design. From the backside, the ass on the CRT has quite a bit of girth to it. Looking over the sticker, we see the main details of the set. This model is part of the M134C chassis family, so I was able to get a similar service manual to make adjustments. We have a full set of inputs with the almighty component and S-Video, and an additional AV output for capture devices. Running Mega Man, I love the crisp and clean composite signal. This shadow mask tube doesn't give the same kind of razor sharpness a trinitron would, but it just has this very clean and beautiful look to it. I think this set has a pretty good comb filter because I'm not seeing any moire or noise visible in some of the solid color backgrounds. If the set has a mediocre comb filter, the blues and grays sometimes show that signal noise, but everything looks pretty clear. This model from RCA was manufactured in their Mexico plant in the mid-2000s by TTE Technology. It does have a pretty nice Thomson tube in it, and judging by the dust collection on the inside, I'd say it's probably a medium hour set. Let's go ahead and throw up some test patterns from the 240p test suite and just see how this big guy looks. With our best friend the HD Retrovision cable back in action, we have a basic grid up through the Super Nintendo. I'd say the geometry on this RCA is definitely S-tier material. Because I'm running this through component, the horizontal centering is going to shift to the left a little bit. When I eyeball this grid, the only noticeable flaw is a bit of vertical bowing in the bottom right corner. Initially I noticed a minor tilt, but 99% of the time, if you just rotate the set to face another direction, it fixes that issue without ever touching the yoke. Switching over to S-Video, you can see the horizontal centering shifted to the right a little bit. This helps hide that corner bowing. I thought the convergence on the set was really good, even in the corners, and the vertical linearity looked pretty decent also. The sonic scroll test just looks excellent. Typically you see warping in the middle on flat CRTs and warping on the outer portion on curved CRTs. But on this RCA, everything looks very stable, so I'd rate this as S-tier scrolling. Mega Man X looks absolutely stunning through component. You'll see how good the geometry is, and the scrolling makes gameplay a lot less distracting. Normally I like to do hands-on gameplay demoing with a controller, but it's harder to do this on the bigger 32-inch CRTs, especially when they're this close to the ground. But just watching the computer gameplay sampling, I'm really impressed by the picture. After getting my hands on this V-Series RCA, I don't have that same sense of urgency to add a D-Series anymore, but I am curious how they'd look side by side in a comparison. So for final thoughts, this RCA turned out to be a really nice clean set, and it's great for 240p gaming. The scanlines are pretty good once you get the contrast down, and it gets a check mark on all the main things that a retro gamer would care about. Especially the fact that it was pretty cheap, and it does have a full set of inputs. These bubble tubes usually have great geometry, and aside from a little bit of bowing in one corner, I'm really happy with the picture. One word of advice I'll give you is to make sure that you have somebody that can actually help you lift the set out of your car. When I got home, all my neighbors were gone, so I tried to see if my wife could help me get the TV into the garage. That lasted about 5 seconds, and I swear it came close to being dropped right on the driveway. So the TV just sat out in my car for about 2 hours before I found somebody that could give me a hand getting it out. I had help getting it into my car, but I didn't think of a plan to get it into my garage once I got home. Just make sure if you plan to chase a big 32-inch CRT that you do have a way to get it into your house. I'm gonna start creating CRT gaming type videos where I pick one of my favorite games and then just do a playthrough on one of my CRTs. I'm thinking I'm gonna drop an NES Zapper game sometime soon, and then maybe I'll try to do another CRT review video. Thank you all once again for showing a lot of love to the channel, and hopefully there's more to come in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.